What's up, guys? Chasing up New Age Revolution down here in Cave for another video. It is Sunday. Happy Sunday to you all. Hope you are enjoying your day. You can see over my shoulder I did a little bit of remodeling back here with the televisions. I pushed them. I pulled the VHS tapes out from they were kind of like library style on the floor, but it would make the TVs come out a little further. So I pulled the VHS tapes back, pushed the TVs back, put the VHSs on top of the TVs. I don't know. Now we've got actually a ton more room, but I don't know what to do with my stereo. That's not your problem. We'll figure that out. A show that I thought about just now. Well, not just now. It's a show I'm doing just now, right now. The idea I thought about a little while ago, because I told you I started watching a ton of movies. So I'll tell you, I kind of want to do like a day in the life video, but I would have to be alone. Like the family would have to be gone somewhere, and they're never gone. So I couldn't do it. Like I want to because when I first started watching YouTube, there was this guy that did a 24-hour movie marathon video, and like he filmed like 3 hours. It was like a 3-hour video, and he filmed like almost his whole day, while he was doing this 24-hour movie marathon. And I just thought it, like, I keep going back to it. I just thought it was so cool just to sit around and watch another guy sit around. I don't know why that's my thing, but I like it. Which is why in a future episode we're going to talk about how I feel YouTube has taken over television. Right? We don't want to watch television shows. We want to watch each other. And I don't know what that is. I guess it's like the most pure form of reality TV, right? We're watching each other. I don't know. Anyways, my night routine is precious to me because it's the only time that I'm alone. And I enjoy that. So the kids go up. The kids start for bed on weeknights, not Fridays and Saturdays, but weeknights they start up for bed at like 7:30, and it's reading and fighting them and peeing and drinking and whatever they do, and usually by about 9:30. My night begins. I get the shower. I got the whole evening routine. I'm in the comfy clothes, and I'm on the couch, and I'm watching 2 or 3 episodes of my TV show that I'm watching at the time. Happens to be Different Strokes right now. That might take me to 11. And then at 11, I put on, the wrestling. So for Wrestling with the Past, I'll do, I'll write some stuff while I'm watching wrestling. Some nights I replace wrestling with like Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. I'm playing that. And then a couple of nights a week, I replace all of that stuff with a movie. And that's been something new for me. And some of you are like, wow, that sounds like a really boring evening. No, friends. No. When you have stuff going on from morning till night, when you got people in your ear morning till night, when you're playing with children after the last ball is tossed, after the last, body slam is given, after the last argument with the wife is had, I want to be alone. And so, this is good. This is a good thing. So anyway, been watching a ton of movies. Probably about 70 movies, 60, 70 movies since Halloween of last year. That's a lot for me. So anyway, it made me think of, like, there's like 4 movies. I thought of 4 movies that are hidden gems for me. I wouldn't call them like cult classics because they're my cult classic, they're like guilty pleasure movies that I love watching, that I will watch, once a year. And I thought that I would share them with you, of course. So let's do that. These are not necessarily your mainstream movies at all. And they are so equally my favorite. Like I can't rank any of these movies. All four, these four movies, I cannot rank them because I love all of them equally. The first one that I'm going to talk about is a movie called River's Edge. The River's Edge, 1987. It's got Keanu Reeves in it, but like this is before Keanu Reeves was Keanu Reeves. So it's got Keanu Reeves. It's got Crispin Glover. It's got like Ione Skye, and then what's that guy's name? The old guy. Oh, Dennis Hopper. Right. It's got Dennis Hopper in it. So basically, it's like townies, kids. I think they're teenagers, but older teenagers, 19, 20, 21 or so. And that wouldn't be teenagers, would it? But anyway, they're all a pack of friends, and one of the friends murders his girlfriend. Yeah, murders his girlfriend, and then instead of disappearing or whatever, he shows his friends the dead body. The body's on the beach, and so he goes and tells his friends, hey, come look what I did, And so Crispin Glover's in it, and all these friends all have their own little weird, quirky personalities. And then there's like two little brothers, or one little brother of one of the big dudes, one of the big guys. Anyway, it's the movie's about half of the friend group wants to go tattle, and Crispin Glover doesn't, and is trying his hardest to not tell. And the friendships all break down, and Dennis Hopper gets involved, and I love it. And the movie is special for another reason, and this is why I sit down here and do what I do. During the WrestleMania 3, was it WrestleMania 3? Yeah. 87, yeah. So during the WrestleMania 3 pre-show, not the pre-show, but like the in-demand channel, okay? In-demand was the cable channel that you would get your pay-per-views on. And I liked to watch the commercial for the wrestling pay-per-views that were coming up, even though I would see it every 3 minutes. They'd rerun the same commercials, the same movies for that month. So it was basically like a commercial channel until you ordered a movie. But one of the movies that they would consistently air right before the WrestleMania ad was River's Edge. And I was only 11, but I would see this River's Edge movie and I was like, all right, hurry up, let's go. One of the scenes they showed during the commercial, or during the preview of the movie, is like a man-woman kind of, what they do when they get together, they turn the lights off. They showed a scene like that, and here I am like, oh, what's this? Oh, it's Hogan versus Andre. All right, cool. So River's Edge always stuck in my head, and then in my 30s or so, I watched it for the first time, and I was like, this is fantastic. The movie just felt special to me. All right, the next one. So that's River's Edge. The next one that is a favorite of mine is a movie called Ants, Ants, and I'm pretty sure that it's from the 70s. Let me see. Oh, I'm never gonna find it because the Disney or Pixar movie called Ants is coming up when you Google it. So there's no way. I'll have to Ants. Okay, 1977, yeah. 1977, and I think Suzanne Summers is in it. Maybe. I think a young Suzanne, well, not young, but I think Suzanne Summers is in it. Brian Dennehy's in it, Stacy Keach. Okay, anyway, 1977. I love disaster movies, but I love infestation movies. I do. I like Strays, and I don't even know if it's called Strays, but there was a cat movie that I loved, that because I hate cats, And there was a cat movie where there was like strays, but bees. I love bee movies. Bees. I loved The Birds. Hitchcock. But this one is ants, and I hate ants. I hate insects. So these movies creep me out for real. But like, there's a hotel, there's a resort or so, and some construction is going on at the resort. And I think during the construction they unearth like this massive mound of killer ants. And it's not like, your cheesy, monster insect movies of like the 60s and 70s or whatever. This is like, they're real ants, and for some reason these ants just want to eat people. And so they do. And I love it. I love it because, like, you can really feel the crisis going on in the movie. Like, the hotel or this resort is overcome with ants, and there are absolutely deaths by ants, which, including a kid, which I just thought was great. A kid is dumpster diving, not to ruin it for you, but he's dumpster diving, and he lands in a pile of ants. And he goes screaming, and he's freaking out, and he jumps in the pool, and that doesn't end well for him. But I loved it. I love it because I love infestation movies, right? So Ants from 1977, and I always had it on a burned DVD, right? I got this movie from Netflix several years ago when they were shipping you movies, and with my bootleg rip it to DVD program that I had, I copied the movie to DVD, and then you have it's the bootleg stuff. You get a marker and you write Ants on the cover of it, and you put it in a cheap case or a blank case, and I always just thought that was going to be it for Ants. But I looking at Blu-ray.com there, I think June or so, maybe May or June, Ants is coming out on Blu-ray, which is great. I'm getting it. I'm going to add it to my Blu-ray collection. Ants from 1977. All right. One I think you've heard me talk about before is called Nightmares. And Nightmares is a horror anthology. And it's like 1982, 1983. And it's got Emilio Estevez in one of the shorts. And I think he's pretty much your most famous actor in these. And I think there's four or five little shorts, and I love them. They're just great. The Emilio Estevez one is so good because it's all it's totally 80s, because it's Emilio Estevez is a teenager that's obsessed with arcade games. And so a lot of the movie takes place in an old 80s arcade. And a lot of that portion of the anthology, a lot of that scene, a lot of that, whatever you want to call it, anthology part, a lot of that part takes place in the arcade, and in this awesomely furnished 80s house with his angry parents that are like, go to your room, you're not going to the arcade. So he becomes so obsessed with a particular video game that he must beat it. He must get to this forbidden level that nobody's ever gotten to, and there's some rumors about this level. Well, he sneaks out one night. He's going to get to that level. Whoa, what happens when he does? Look out, Charlie. Pretty good stuff. Look out, Emilio Estevez. And then you got like your classic. What was one of the shorts is, kind of the make sure you look in the back seat before you drive kind of thing, serial killer. And I always love in these movies where they talk about how a mental patient escaped from a hospital. And I love that because I'm in the mental health field. But I just always love it when, like, the mental patient escapes from the asylum, from the hospital. Great. And he's always walking around in the hospital gown, ready to kill people because he escaped from the hospital. And now we have, forensic inpatient facilities with barbed wire, so you can't escape. Anyway, I love that. I love that one. I love Nightmares. It's so good. It's so fun. It's so cheesy 80s. There's one about a rat. There's a rat a father is obsessed with trying to rid his house of pests, and one of them is an ant or a rat, but it's not your average rat. Check out Nightmares. Check out Nightmares. I think of the three that I've talked about so far, Nightmares will be your favorite because it's so set in the 80s. Finally is a movie that I am waiting for to come out on Blu-ray. Waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray. I almost said it earlier when I talked about River's Edge. The movie's called Over the Edge. And I'm pretty sure it's also a 70s movie. Over the Edge movie. Let's see. 1979 teen drama starring everybody's favorite punk, Matt Dillon. Matt Dillon, everybody's favorite punk, Matt Dillon, and also a fella that that went on to do some other stuff. What's his name? Vincent Spano. Vincent Spano did some other work. In fact, Vincent Spano was from not Stopper My Mom Will Shoot, Oscar with Sylvester Stallone. Anyway, this is so good. It's so good, and it like brings me back to reality because when you fantasize about going back in time and living in the 80s, you're like, all the kids were sweet and nice and kind, and there were no punks and no thugs and no. Well, this movie says, nah, that's not true. Basically, it's like a housing development, and all these teenagers live there, and they're all just bad kids. They're all skipping school. They're all like, screw you, copper. They hate the police, and they run amok. They certainly run amok, boys and girls, running amok. Running amok on the high school, running amok on the town, running amok on other kids. If I can get it together, I'll say running amok 5-6 more times if I want. But I love this movie. And Matt Dillon is such a turd. He's such a punk. He's such a perfect 70s, early 80s punk. Oh, it's so great. He's got the feathery hair and like the real tight tank top and the jeans. And he's got that mustache that's just really trying to grow in. Matt Dillon. Punk of the 70s. So good. So good. And it's not like a happy ending. All the kids don't like find, God or anything and behave, see the error of their ways. No. There's some tragedy in this movie and some goodness, I love it. It's not a happy ending. Over the Edge has not yet. Look, if Ants can get a Blu-ray, I'm begging for Over the Edge to come out. Again, I have it on that crappy Netflix bootleg, Homebrew. Homebrew. I haven't said that in forever. That's an old tape trading term, Homebrew. That's how I get to watch my Over the Edge. So I want it on Blue, and I want it with a whole bunch of fun special features, and I want them to interview Matt Dillon about how he was the biggest punk in the 70s. I want to see that. So those are my movies. Those are my guilty pleasure movies that I absolutely will watch once a year at least. River's Edge, Over the Edge, Ants, and Nightmares, the anthology. Do yourself a favor. Go see Nightmares and go see Over the Edge. 2 fantastic movies. River's Edge is tremendous. Ants is creepy if you don't like ants. But go check that out. Those are my favorite movies. That's all.